Have you ever felt so overwhelmed by the noise and rush of life that you wished everything could just stop for a moment? That one moment of stillness where your mind is silent and your heart feels at peace. If so, you are not alone. This is a story about a young man who finds strength not in action, but in stillness, and it might just change the way you see your own struggles. In a small, quiet village nestled between ancient hills and deep forests, there lived a young man named Arin. From the moment he was old enough to understand, he felt a heavy weight on his chest, a restlessness, a constant rising storm of worries and fears that seemed to follow him no matter where he went. One evening, as dusk painted the sky with soft purples and golds, Arin sat by a bubbling stream, hands clenched tightly. "Why do I feel so weak?" he whispered to himself. "Why is it that no matter how hard I try, I cannot calm this storm inside me?" His mother, who was nearby gathering herbs, heard him and approached quietly. "Arin," she said gently, "come with me tomorrow at dawn. There is someone I want you to meet." The next morning, just as the first light touched the treetops, Arin followed his mother through the quiet woods. After a short walk, they reached a small, serene temple where an old monk named Arin lived. Arin was known for his wisdom and his peaceful presence, and the villagers often came to him seeking guidance. Arin felt nervous. "What can this old monk teach me?" he wondered. Arin greeted them with a calm smile. "Welcome, Arin. Sit with me by the lotus pond." As they sat, Arin began to speak softly. "Tell me, young one, what is it that troubles your heart?" Arin sighed deeply. "I feel lost and weak. My mind is always racing, filled with fear and doubts. I try to keep going, but inside I feel like I'm drowning." The monk listened intently. After a moment, he pointed to the pond. "Look closely, Arin. What do you see?" Arin leaned forward and watched the surface of the water. It was still and clear, reflecting the sky above. Then a sudden gust of wind caused ripples across the surface, making the reflection shake and distort. Arin continued, "That pond is like your mind. When the wind blows, the surface becomes disturbed and the reflection is unclear. But the pond itself, deep below, is still and calm. It is never truly shaken, even when the surface is rough." Arin frowned. "But how do I stop the wind? How do I calm the ripples?" The monk smiled softly. "You cannot stop the wind nor control the outside world, but you can learn to find the stillness beneath it." Arin looked into the water again. This time he tried to imagine a deep calm beneath the waves. "But I don't know how to find that stillness," he said quietly. Arin nodded knowingly. "Let me tell you a story. Long ago, there was a young woman who was afraid of the dark. Every night, shadows would creep into her room, and her heart would race with fear. One night, she decided not to hide, but instead to face the darkness. She sat quietly and watched. Slowly, as her eyes adjusted, she saw that the shadows were only shapes made by moonlight and trees outside. Her fear melted away, replaced by a peaceful curiosity. She learned that the darkness was not her enemy, but a part of her world that held beauty and calm if only she was brave enough to see it. Arin thought about this, then asked, "Are you saying my fears are like those shadows?" "Yes," Arin replied. "Fear is often just a shape our mind creates, looking different and frightening when seen only on the surface. But if you can sit with it, not running or fighting, you might see what it really is." For many days after, Arin visited the monk. He learned to sit quietly, to watch his thoughts and fears as if they were ripples on the pond's surface. At first, the storm inside seemed stronger. But slowly, beneath the noise, he began to find a quiet place inside himself where the wind could not reach. One afternoon, as the sun dipped low, Arin sat by the pond and spoke to Arin. "I feel different now. The storm still visits, but it does not overwhelm me as before. I can watch it and let it pass." The monk smiled with pride. "That is the strength of stillness, Arin. It is not about fighting the storm, but learning to be unshaken within it." Arin looked at the pond one last time before he rose to leave. The surface was clear again, reflecting the peaceful sky. As he walked back through the forest, he understood the truth the monk had shared: real strength is not loud or forceful. It is calm, steady, and rooted deep within, waiting patiently beneath the rushing chaos of the world. And so, if you ever feel overwhelmed, remember Arin's story and the still pond beneath the storm. Find a quiet moment, breathe deeply, and know that strength is already inside you, calm and unshaken, waiting to be discovered. Because sometimes the greatest power comes not from what we do, but from simply being still and letting life unfold around us.